Hello crafty friends, I'm Lien from Studio Cato and I'm so glad you're joining me again today. Today's card and envelope were made in just under 30 minutes I think, so it's a really quick card, but it has a fun technique for a subtle frame. And also a fun technique to color your stamps without actually doing much coloring. So I'm starting out with an A2 sized panel of Clairefontaine DCP 250 GSM cardstock, and on that I am stamping the Joyful Peonies cling stamp by Pinkfresh Studio in Versafine Onyx black ink with my Misti. To get a nice impression, I like to rub over the Misti door with a cloth, and this makes it really smooth to stamp out instead of having to press in every little nook and cranny. I'm also going to clear emboss this with Wow Clear Gloss Superfine Embossing Powder, and this will help with the coloring technique, because the embossing powder will resist any color that we put on top of it. And for my coloring today, I am just using the swinking method, which is apparently what this is called. I didn't know that. It's swiping the ink cube over your cardstock directly, not using any tools to apply the ink. And this just creates a really lovely paint stripe effect. I love it, and I really like the colors I chose as well. I don't usually go for cool tones. I have been going for them much more lately than I have in the past, and I really like the teals and the blues, and that green is probably my favorite color in the Pinkfresh Studio line. This is the Grassy Knoll ink, and it's just so beautiful. I will list all the ink colors I used in a description below, along with all of the other supplies. Now the only coloring I did is with a white gel pen, and I only did this because I kind of regretted not embossing this image in white. I didn't realize how dark that blue would be on my paper when it's just swiped on, so I wanted my image to stand out a little bit more from those dark colors of ink, and I'm just using a white gel pen to add shading, but I mean, it turns out to be a highlight, but I'm adding it in the places where you would add shading. Now, I'm not at all being precise with this. I am just adding some ink with my gel pen, but then I do take my finger and just rub some of that away to blend it out a little bit. And this will make it a teeny tiny bit less harsh than it usually looks. And I do that all around the flower, and I do think it makes a bit of a difference. So I'm happy I did it, but maybe for the next card I will emboss it in white. Now I wanted to frame this, but I wanted it to be subtle, so I'm using some Eclipse die cutting. And I die cut the Essentials Blanket Stitch Oval dies by Pinkfresh Studio out of this cardstock. And I taped them in place so I'd have a nice even frame. And then I can glue the outer piece on my card first. Temporarily put the frame in there just to make sure I know where to put my inside piece. Glue that down, and then I can prop up the frame. This is a super subtle frame, but it does help to add a little bit of something to that simple card, and I really like how it turns out. When I'm not sure about how to frame a card or how to frame an image on a card, I usually go for this technique. I have done this a lot in the past. I'm not sure if I've shown it in a video yet, but this is a great way to add a subtle frame that doesn't take over your image. I added a happy birthday sentiment. This is also from a Pinkfresh Studio stamp and die set. It's the Simple Sentiments set, and I love it because it stamps and die cuts 10 sentiments all at once. So I've prepared a bunch of those beforehand. So I can just glue that on this card now and add a couple of embellishments as well. I used the metallic silver pearls today from Pinkfresh Studio. Now for my envelope, I am just folding an A2 sized envelope out of Clairefontaine DCP 250 GSM cardstock using my We Are Memory Keepers 123 punch board. And I'm decorating both the inside and the outside of my envelope today. For the inside, I'm stamping that Joyful Peonies stamp in the mint ink. That's the lightest ink I used on my card. And on the outside, I am doing some ombre stamping. Again, using the same inks that I used on my card to make a nice matching set. And I'm not looking for a super smooth ombre, I am just pouncing the ink pads on and just creating harsh lines of color. If you want it to be smooth, apply it with a blending tool. That would make a smoother ombre effect. But I think with just line art like this image, it doesn't matter that much. You don't really notice the difference. I love how that ombre looks on the envelope, and I really like the card as well. It was so quick to make, but it's so colorful and bright. I love it. I hope you like it too. If you did, make sure to leave a thumbs up on this video and leave your thoughts in the comments below. I would love to read them. Do you have a favorite technique to add color to a card without actually doing any coloring? Because I would love to find out more techniques to use on quick cards in the future. So I hope you let me know all your tips and tricks in the comments below as well. You can also subscribe to my channel if you want to see more of my videos. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.